we're all smart women. We can all buy the book. We can all follow the, whatever course we've signed up to. We can all sit down with a coach. We can all engage in logical step-by-step processes. We know how to do that. But we all know that either doesn't work at all, or there's some kind of, in my experience, it was a hollow feeling. It was something is off here. And it might be just useful. Does anybody resonate with that? What are your thoughts about that specific notion?
Yeah, that completely rings true for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've realized, it really is, it's absolutely nothing to do. So what most coaching and training does is it works on the premise that if we change, and justifiably, it makes sense, if we follow new steps and engage in new behaviors, this is perfectly logical, then our thoughts and our emotions will change because of that.
But it's not that.
No. It is sometimes, but if we find ourselves stuck, and we're not stuck in everything, none of us are stuck in everything. Like, there are some things we do and we go, that's not a problem, I'm fine with that. But we know there are certain things that we just keep running at that wall and just rebounding every time. Just run again. Oh no, I'm not going to get through it. And because of that, those processes will never work. So it doesn't matter. And this is where I used to get so frustrated working with coaches, thinking, I'm doing this stuff, I really am doing it. But for some reason, there's a part of me that is not listening. It's just not listening, not playing, doesn't want to do it, it's not happening. And that wears you down and grinds you down and starts to convince you, I can't do this, something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. I need to change something. So this module is all about that particular element of what's going on. And so what we start to do, in fact, what we've already begun, is this layering of conscious and unconscious behaviors and habits. So consciously, you're choosing to meditate, but clearly when you meditate, you're tapping into your unconscious in a very undeliberate way. So the whole, you meditate already, you know that meditation is about surrender. And that's why I personally like the meditations that don't involve guided meditations, that don't involve mantras or anything like that, because I want to practice surrender to what the hell is my brain going to do in the next 20 minutes? I have no idea. Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's gone here. No, now we're over here. Oh, no, now we're over there. Oh, that's interesting. Why am I here? Because it's trusting the process. It's inner space, and this layering is for a number of reasons, especially in this module, is lowering the resistance that has existed for so long. And Anna knows me well, so she'll have heard me talk about this in a very similar way in the past. Because unbeknown to us, like, we know it's a problem. There's a part of our brain that's engaged, and we can know this intellectually, that feels threatened by the thing you're trying to do. But the thing is, you don't know why it's threatened. And what we traditionally do is we try to address it head on. We go, okay, right, and we run harder at it, or we feel like if we concentrate harder, it will work. If we just try a different tack, it will work. But what we need to do is start lowering the resistance. So what we're doing is we're ratcheting down resistance. And as we ratchet down resistance, then we can start in modules 3 and 4 to bring in the kind of things we'd like to be doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So So what we did in module 1 was all about identity. Module 2 is about small daily things. And that, sorry, I'm deliberately skipping over these because we've been here before. So the content of this is understanding what stress is and why it matters. And a lot of this information, I've said this before about the whole program, none of us are learning or teaching or guiding it. None of us are doing anything new. You know, there was the lovely example in the conversation at the beginning of the call where Marcia said to Era, oh, I'd really like to coach with you. And that's not because you're going to be sharing something monumentally different to anybody else, but it's how you share it that matters. And so what this module about, there'll be lots of points of, oh, I've heard that before. Oh, I remember, oh, this is a bit different. This will be just a different presentation of stuff, a lot of which you know, but a lot of it will be, if you imagine all the bits you know are jigsaw puzzle pieces, but you've never had all the pieces in the same place at the same time. And what this module about is about bringing together and suddenly going, oh, I seem to have most of a puzzle here. Oh, I see how some of these bits now fit together. Oh, now that makes sense. And so we're stepping outside, in and out. So this, when I talk about this layering and conscious and unconscious and stepping in and stepping out, and it all, at the moment you're probably thinking, what is she on about? But it will begin to make sense as you move through this module, that we're looking at the way we learn, not just from a logical perspective, but also how we use our senses to learn, and how can we apply that to move ourselves forwards and to lower the resistance of the conscious mind. And those couple of things in there, when you get into the module, you'll find them, they're not there yet. Again, Anna's heard of this, insignificant moments of joy. And I talked last week about using scaling, which we're all familiar with, and introducing that on a daily basis. So that is a new habit. So the purpose of this call is not really the reason I've just rushed through it, don't worry, this is not the training for the module. This was just a quick overview so you know roughly what you're going into next week. So you're going to continue your daily meditation. Hopefully you're going to feel like you can either carry on and continue with module 1 if you feel that that would be helpful, but at least start module 1 and get ready for module 2. If you want to jump into module 2 before you do module 1, that's fine, but don't skip module 1 because it is deceptively deep, and it's possibly the one thing, if you leave that out of the equation, if you just did modules 2 to 4, you'd experience a difference, you really would. But would you get the full depth of reinvention that you could? I don't think so. So do go back into it, set aside time. And even that in itself, setting aside time for yourself is a part of this process, is something most people I work with are actually, it takes a lot of practice just to feel okay about doing that, about, well, this is for me, or no, you need to attach it to something that's for somebody else, that for your business or for your partner or for your children or for your parents, or, you know, it's not, you can't actually do it for you, but you all know that you do need to do it for you. So use this, as I say, layer it with what matters for you, layer it with what else we're doing in the program. And that really was just it, a very, very quick overview. And as I say, I think I'll end up doing more than 4 calls because the content came in late, because Marcy's been unwell. I want you to really use these calls. So rather than listening to me yabbering about, you know, an overview of what you're going to go in and find anyway, and a bit high level, a bit, oh, I'm not quite sure, what was that about? What does she mean when she talks about insignificant moments, blah, blah.
I mean, I don't think so. I think for me, this is very much, I think like all of us, we've probably got our reasons for coming in. I think one of the reasons that I came into this is, I think my abiding issue that I've had for years now is I've struggled to lose weight, and I've, you know, a bit like you're sort of bounced against this brick wall, and I suppose I'm looking for ideas or thoughts or how I can use my mind to be more helpful in that process, you know, I guess. So I am very much happy to go with the flow and get a sense of, you know, what some of this stuff, some of it was new to me, how that might be helpful to me, I guess. But
Yeah.
on that.
One, it's just, it's kind of about getting out of your own head, isn't it? And just, you know, so I think for me, nothing's come up yet that, because of the work that we've done together before, that I, you know, that I feel kind of uncomfortable with or don't understand the reason for. So so I think I'm quite happy at the minute.